Mahalo, and welcome back to OG Gaming Channel's Deck Reviews. You're with me, Mysterious Voice, and today we have a legendary Six Samurai deck profile, including many of the amazing newer Six Samurais since our previous video, which I think really make the deck a lot better. So let's go through the profile. We have 4 copies to each of what I consider the OG boss monsters. Obviously, Great Shogun Sheen, with its effect where your opponent can only occupy 1 spell and trap. I think really the idea, at least for me, for a Six Samurai deck, is you play this and then you put 1 bit of disruption in for spells and traps, and then try and lock down effects, and then you've kind of you've got the win kind of in the bag. From what I know, yes, Grandmaster is obviously this card that you can helps recycle your Six Samurais, and also you can special summon it as an additional monster from your hand, so not using up your normal summon, which is very important in the Six Samurai deck. In terms of the original Six Samurais, we've got 3 different types. We've got 2 Eru, 2 Zanji, and 2 of Yaichi. We do have an Anishi. It's just not in star order. So this obviously this works in terms of destroying your opponent's cards if you've got some Six Samurais in your graveyard. So this is perhaps preparing for a turn 2 or turn 3 possible turnaround. I mean, Kizaru is just a beast in terms of letting you add Six Samurais to your hand, and being able to do multiples of that. Being a multiple searcher is just ridiculous. So that's kind of why we have to have that at 3 in here. Doji, of course, it allows you to basically get rid of those Six Samurais that are in your deck, so you're able to start doing some of the more special summoning shenanigans. And it also has that protection-based effect too, which is pretty cool. I mean, Kazan, it basically, your state with the original Six Samurais is that you want 2, right? So then their effects work, and then Kazan helps you load that up with a 3rd, and then you can start using the Xyz cards. Kagemusha is your kind of it basically helps if they're being destroyed. And Jemba is a recycler, which I would personally maybe tend to put in the side in case your opponent likes to banish. Now, Kageki is your marauding captain. This is you want your Kageki to be the thing that you start off with your normal summon, and you bring out your next Six Samurai, because it gains a decent amount of attack, so it'll be 1700 if you've got another Six Sam on the field. My favourite Six Samurai is Hatsume. I both really like the artwork, and I think the idea of having a water samurai is pretty cool. I like the idea of a kind of, a nice a pond in China with some lily pads, and her just kind of dancing off them, and like bouncing between each type of lily without
Japan.
them sinking. Japan. What a great knowledge of Asia I have, Ollie. Scrap the fact that I said China. Sorry, Japan, I have offended you immensely. And I will now lash myself repeatedly until I start throwing up sushi. Anyway, right. This allows you to banish some of the Six Samurai, so hence the recycler we had earlier, to get another one back. And obviously this is important because we're using them up all the time. And again, has the banish effect to allow you to stop destruction. Well, I've skipped on to Ghost Ogre because I can't really control my mouse, but we've got 2 copies of Ghost Ogre as our hand trap, and that's all. Fuma, I remember Getsu Fuma. Back in Invasion of Chaos days, I'd always get that card. So that kind of works if it gets destroyed. So that's, again, we're going for a kind of slower pace Six Samurai than a kind of all-out attacks version. And I think we did miss a monster. Oh, the legend that is the secret of the Six Samurai. Shh. anyone know it's in the deck. Right, I'm not even going to go over it because it needs to be secret. Oh, this needs to be secret too. Everything needs to be secret with these cards. So these are the special secret skills of the Six Samurai. Again, they're secret. I won't tell you about them. You'll have to read it up later. Sheen Smoke Signal. What's that, Yuhei? Is it a Six Samurai? Do. It's going to get you. Great. So this is your staple 3 of Searcher. Along with reinforcements to the army, you can have good access to any of your Six Samurais, really. Temple of the Six, I remember when this was banned. Pretty good for draining your opponent's monsters. Attack, if you're going into a long game, which is what we're trying to do. If you look at our trap cards, for example, Countergate, Scrap Iron Scarecrow, Mirror Force. I know they're a bit original and they're a bit old, but that's kind of what we're going to go for in this kind of deck. Is kind of using a bit more of the older cards, and in general we want a game to go to kind of 2 or 3, so we're not really going for kind of turn 1 lockout. That is not the vibe we're going for with this deck. Triple Impact, just in case you get 3 on the field. Obviously it's got really good removal, and when we've got our copies of Kizan, it's fairly simple with him and Kaigeki. It's fairly simple to get out 3 Six Samurais turn 1 or turn 2, so you can make a big play in terms of getting rid of either your opponent's monsters, or personally I like to go after the spells and traps because they're less recyclable. Usually they want the monsters in the grave. Sheen's Dojo is the last one, and again this can kind of help bringing out monsters from your main deck so that you can start making the big extra deck plays. So what are those big extra deck plays? Well, the main one is the Contact Fusion Rihan. And yeah, this is 3 different Six Samurais with different attributes. So again, that's kind of where I like Hatsume and also Kageki, because they have their wind and water, unlike most of the rest of the deck. I mean, Yaichi's are water, but they tend to give good options. And yeah, it's got a really nice banishing effect, and it again has some banishing protection. Yes, Battle Shogun, obviously 2 warriors, so were we to be playing other cards, but I mean, you could also, I guess, give up Great Shogun Sheen if you were being really silly. You can link summon this. I don't think it's as useful now in Master Rule 5 as it was in Master Rule 4, because before it would unlock the your ability to XE summon and fusion summon and whatnot. So now, personally, I wouldn't be going for it as much. I mean, I guess you maybe if you're trying to search for Temple of the Six, but personally, I'd rather include more Temple of the Six and terraforming and stuff like that. Shien is almost your is it your like generic beta? I mean, 2,500 attack from using up 2 Six Sams is pretty good, and it can beef up the attack of any one of your monsters too if you need it to. And lastly, Shien, who can negate the activation. So the idea really is that you can get Shien and Shien out. See what they did there? If you get them both out, then you're pretty much set, as long as you can counter for those monster effects, which we try and do obviously with the Ghost Ogre. So we're side decking copies of Enishi and another copy of Fuma, depending on what the game state's going to be. They're going to be quite useful. Sheen's Advisor is obviously pretty good if you're up against a certain monster type. You can bring that in, and if you can protect it, this is actually pretty good. We're seeing a lot of Floodgate cards in the minute, so using this to prevent, I don't know, dragons or something, it can really help. We've got a copy of Camon, honestly, because I think it's lonely with Yacha being at 2 and it being at 0. Swift Strike Armor is, I guess, if you want to play a really kind of funny deck where you take out a bunch of the field spells and stuff and just load it full of samurai cards. The 6 Shinobi, an outrageous card if you're feeling in the mood for some fun, depending on what your deck you're playing. This is kind of what we like to do, is that you can set challenges. You don't have to play it kind of ultra competitively. You can just be like, right, my plan is to try and play the 6 Shinobi. And if you're playing someone with a similar mindset where they're trying to do something stupid, that can really work, and I think that's probably one of the most enjoyable ways to play Yu-Gi-Oh! These days, compared to playing it ultra competitively. And the last card is my actual favourite 6 Samurai card, which Ollie, who runs this deck, absolutely hate. You don't hate it, you just don't use it. I think this is great. I would like to just start the duel with Backs to the Wall. I mean, obviously not, because they won't be in your graveyard. But I think my version of the 6 Samurai deck would be get rid of them all, Backs to the Wall, because I feel like that's what... actually, you know what? I'm going to make the same mistake twice to make it funny. That's what Jackie Chan would do, and that's what he would want. And with that, back to the studio. Like and subscribe.